in the women's 100 metres heat 5, and they are away. Sha'Carri Richardson eases across the line. 10.92, that's the fastest time we've seen so far this morning.
At just 19 years old, she trained with Sha'Carri Richardson and then turned around and beat her idols on the world stage. This isn't just another sprint story. This is how Tia Clayton went from the shadows to shocking the entire track world. If you're enjoying this deep dive into Tia Clayton's incredible journey, hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, subscribe to the channel, and share this with anyone who loves track and field. Let's get into it. When Sha'Carri Richardson was gearing up for the Paris Olympics after her solid performance at the U.S. Olympic track and field trials, everyone had their eyes on her. The 24-year-old was the favorite for the women's 100 meters gold, and rightfully so. Her personal best of 10.65 seconds made her one of the fastest women on the planet. But there was someone lurking in the shadows, someone most people weren't paying attention to yet. Her name is Tia Clayton, and at just 19 years old, this Jamaican sprinter was about to announce herself to the world in the most spectacular way possible. Tia Clayton was born on August 17, 2004, in Westmoreland, one of Jamaica's most rural parishes. She didn't come from wealth or elite training facilities. She came from a small town where running wasn't just a sport, it was a way of life. But Tia had something special. Her mother, Tishana, was a sprinting prodigy herself back in the day, competing at the national level during her school years. So speed, that runs in the family, literally. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Tia has an identical twin sister named Tina Clayton, and she's not just fast. She's a 4-time U20 world champion and the second fastest age group sprinter in Jamaica's history with a time of 10.95 seconds. Tina actually leads their head-to-head matchups 8-4, so for most of Tia's career, she's been in her sister's shadow. The story of how these twins got discovered is almost cinematic. They were competing at the JTA/Sagicor National Primary Schools Athletics Championships when they were just under 9 years old. A coach named Michael Dyke, who runs the legendary Edwin Allen program, an 8-time Jamaican high school champion, spotted them and immediately knew they were special. He approached their mother and told her that when the time was right, these girls needed to join his program. A few years later, the twins made a 145-kilometer journey from their rural hometown to Frankfield, Clarendon to train under Dyke. That decision changed everything. Back in February 2019, when Tia was just 15 years old, she ran a World U15 best of 11.37 seconds at the Digicel Central Athletics Championships. People were buzzing. This kid was the real deal. But then, just over a month later, her twin sister Tina stepped up and ran 11.27 seconds to beat her at the famous Jamaican High School Boys and Girls Championships, known as Champs. That moment defined their relationship. They're fiercely competitive, but they also push each other to be better. Tia once said, "I am not going to allow her to beat me," and she feels the same way. But here's the beautiful part. They're also each other's biggest supporters. Tina explained it perfectly. The twins became known for running the Jamaican 4x100-meter relay teams that shattered world under 20 records. In 2021, they ran 42.94 seconds, and then in 2022 at the World U20 Championships, they destroyed that record with a time of 42.59 seconds. Tina ran the second leg, Tia ran anchor. They were unstoppable together, but individually, Tia was still finding her way. She struggled with consistency, and in 2023, she hit rock bottom. At the Jamaican National Championships, she failed to even advance from the preliminaries. She clocked 11.40 seconds and finished 4th in her heat. What happened? She didn't hear the gun. She was left in the blocks while everyone else took off, and just like that, her Olympic dreams were over before they began. It was devastating. She didn't even make it to the semifinals. Looking back, Tia admitted, "Last year I didn't hear the gun. So this year I just came out here and just try my best to hear the gun so I can move with them." Fast forward to 2024, and Tia came into the Jamaican Championships with a completely different mindset. She had been dealing with a niggling injury earlier in the season, but she was healthy now, and she was motivated. Her personal best going in was 11.12 seconds. Not bad, but nothing that suggested she was about to make history. Then the semifinals happened. Tia exploded out of the blocks and crossed the line in 10.86 seconds, obliterating her previous best. The crowd went wild. Even Tia was shocked. She said, "I can't say I'm surprised that I'm here because I've been working hard towards it, but it was just the time in the semifinals that shook me." That run put her only 0.21 seconds behind Sha'Carri Richardson's best time. Suddenly, people started paying attention. A few hours later, Tia lined up for the final. Next to her, Shericka Jackson, the 2020 Tokyo Olympics bronze medalist, and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, a living legend with multiple world and Olympic golds. These were Tia's idols, the women she had watched on TV growing up, and now she was racing them for a spot on the Jamaican Olympic team. Tia stayed calm. She later said, "I wasn't nervous for the final. Maybe I was nervous for the semifinals, but I wasn't nervous for the final because I was accustomed to it." She crossed the line in 10.90 seconds, finishing second behind Jackson's 10.84 seconds and ahead of Fraser-Pryce's 10.94 seconds. She had done it. At 19 years old, Tia Clayton was going to the Olympics. The moment she finished, she ran straight to her twin sister Tina, and they shared an emotional hug. Tina was overwhelmed. She said, "It was overwhelming for me knowing that she had a shot of making the Jamaica team. I've seen what she can do, and she always puts her best foot forward in training, and I know that she would do her best." For Tia, making the team wasn't just about redemption, it was about making her mother proud after the heartbreak of 2023. She wanted to prove that setbacks don't define you, how you respond to them does. At the Paris Olympics, Tia made her debut in the 100-meter final against the fastest women in the world. She finished 7th with a time of 11.04 seconds. Some might see that as a disappointment, but Tia saw it differently. This wasn't the end of her journey. It was just the beginning. She said, "I feel very great that I've made the team, so all I can do is stay mentally focused and just continue to do my best. I'm not going to put a time on myself. All I can say is that I just want to medal." She wasn't satisfied with just being there. She wanted more, and then she proved it. Just days after the Olympics, Tia competed in the Silesia Diamond League meet on August 25th. She lined up, ran her heart out, and crossed the finish line in a dramatic photo finish. The time, 10.83 seconds. A new personal best, shaving 0.03 seconds off her previous record. She won. This wasn't a fluke. This was a young woman on a mission, and she was just getting started. So why are Jamaican sprinters like Tia so dominant? It's not just talent, it's the system. Jamaica has a pipeline that starts in elementary school and goes all the way to the pros. Every spring, over 100 high schools pack Kingston's National Stadium for the ISSA/Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Championships, known as CHAMPS. This is where young sprinters are forged under real pressure, where legends are born. After high school, the best athletes join elite clubs like Racers Track Club and MVP Track Club, where they get world-class coaching, medical support, and a structured training environment. The training itself is meticulously designed. Acceleration days focusing on 0 to 30 meters, max velocity days with 20 to 60 meter flies, and speed endurance days running 80 to 150 meters with full recovery. It's not about running more, it's about running smarter. Quality over quantity, always. There's also fascinating science behind Jamaica's sprint dominance. Research shows that Jamaicans have a higher frequency of the ACE gene's D allele variant, which gives them larger hearts capable of pumping oxygenated blood faster to muscles. They also have the ACTN3 gene's 577RR variant at a rate of 75%, compared to just 70% of U.S. international